It's been an exciting time, though, for a lot of cannabis advocates out there. As we covered earlier this month, not only did the House vote for the first time on decriminalizing marijuana at the national level, but the NBA also recently announced it would be eliminating random marijuana testing for players this upcoming season as well. So, joining us now for more on that is a former NBA player, champion, and new advisor to the board of directors at Ease, a leading cannabis platform there. Matt Barnes joins us right now. Matt, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I guess
Thank you guys for
first,
having
since
me.
we were just talking about the NBA, man. So I guess first, I'll just get your reaction to the league suspending those tests as a former player. I mean, and a cannabis advocate here. How big is that move?
I think it's hats off to obviously Michelle Robert and Adam Silver. This is something I've personally been fighting, and my former teammate and business owner Al Harrington of Viola have been fighting for a while. This is something that has been used. It hasn't really been a secret for a long time in the NBA, and we've always been punished for it. And to me, the alternative is opioids or alcohol. But I was someone throughout my 15-year career used it as needed, and it really helped me. So to see, I'm 3 years removed from the NBA now, and see that they're starting to make progress, obviously with research behind it, it feels good today.
Matt, have we reached a tipping point on the understanding of cannabis, you think, in the league? I mean, it seems like you believe this should be a permanent move. Do you think the league, given their experience in the playoffs and now this upcoming season, are likely to come on board with that move?
I think so, but I think it's slowly but surely. Usually the NBA is ahead of the curve when it comes to this, but we were actually, kind of at the back of the pack. But I think it was just because we really wanted to do our due diligence and our research. The Players Association hired an individual doctor. The NBA hired an individual doctor to do their studies. And like I said, it's finally starting to become backed with medical research. Me as a player and former players, we could have talked until we're blue in the face, but until there's actually some medical data backing up what we're saying, we weren't really moving the needle. So now that the research is on board with what the players are saying, as a commissioner and as an owner of the league, you always want to kind of listen to your players and have a pulse on what your players are thinking and feeling. And I think the NBA is finally doing that.
Yeah, Matt, you've been pretty outspoken. You've been pretty open about it too. I mean, when we talk about your use and your testing in the league and kind of trying to skirt it, it sounded like there's a good amount of effort in trying to test negative for these tests. I mean, you've talked about it on your podcast, All the Smoke too.
Yeah.
I mean, how much added strain on the players is that? And really, when you talk to players who are still in the league right now, are there a lot of them who are mentioning to you that, look, this is actually a pretty big weight off my shoulders?
Oh, it's a huge weight. I've been able to talk to a few players, and it was kind of just an exhale. I think they started obviously with the bubble at the end of last season, where they pulled back on testing and allowed players to kind of do it at their leisure without worrying about consequences. And to me, being in the NBA is obviously a blessing, but there's a lot of stresses and give and take that come with that. So to me, this is just one less stress taken off the plate of players, where they can comfortably use it as needed. And at the end of the day, it's for what's it's everyone is different. But I said for the guys that choose to use it, it really helps them.
Matt, let's talk about the state of the league right now as it relates to TV viewership. No surprise, very well documented. Their ratings were down in a significant way, especially during the playoffs. The finals down about 50% decline here. What do you think has contributed to that decline? And what do you think the league can do to attract more viewers?
I think that was kind of a two-tier situation. One, our former president was trying to hijack the movement and make it about something which it wasn't. We're 75% African American in the NBA, and we felt was our part to speak up, use our voice, and use our platform. And then on the flip side, we kind of had a baseball schedule during the bubble. Usually you come home and basketball is on at 7 o'clock, or sometimes on the East Coast, it's on at 10 o'clock, but we were doing noon games and 2 o'clock games when a lot of our viewers were either, kids in school or people that would normally watch the games are at work. So I think, like I said, I think it was a two-headed monster that kind of knocked our ratings down, and we're just in a crazy time. You know what I mean? So although we love sports, sports is not necessarily a priority considering everything that's going on in this country. So I think that when we start to head to some sort of normalcy, I think we'll see our ratings continue to climb back to normal. But that's just in the United States. You got to think the NBA is a global game now, so it's not just the viewers in the United States. It's a game that travels around the globe now. So I think in a matter of time, the ratings will be fine.
Yeah, Matt, that's what's kind of interesting about cannabis reform right now, because it is something that I think very much, as we saw in the House debate, very much at the center of criminal justice reform, as well as kind of diversity initiatives. As I said, you joined the board at Ease. They've been pretty active in that with their Momentum Business Accelerator, $50,000 in grants going to underrepresented business leaders there. You're going to be tasked with supporting the second year of that program here. But how important is cannabis to you when it comes to maybe being a tool to address some of those inequalities when we look at the economic divide here among racial groups in this country, and the role that cannabis and the criminalization and arrests on that front may have played in all that throughout the nation's history?
I think it's big. We missed the gold rush. We missed prohibition. Cannabis is something we can't miss, considering people of color have been the ones that have been affected by it the most. You hear a lot of these big companies that are really making waves in this space, but not necessarily giving back when it comes to the community. And I think that's what drew me to the Momentum program over at Ease. I was fortunate enough to kind of play alongside of it last year, and came in towards the end unofficially last year, and met the applicants and spoke to them and just saw the excitement and enthusiasm in their eyes, giving this opportunity that Ease gave them. So now that I'm full time, I'm really pushing the envelope and continuing to use my platform to spread this message. It's obviously, a lot of people are talking about what they're doing in this space, but not too many people are actually giving tangible, worth to these people, and also providing other resources. Giving money is great, but we need education. A lot of these people, this is the first time actually having a business, so you can't just hand some people some money and say, hey, go make this happen, or get a predatorial deal where, you're kind of signing your life away and you're letting other people do it. I think what I love about Ease is coaching these people every step of the way, and also giving them access once they feel they're ready to actually real big time capital that can really take their business vertical.
In terms of, I guess, the changing league views, just to go full circle here, now that it isn't going to be something they're going to test for, at least, not when it comes to repeat offenders, but for just random testing, do you expect more players to maybe come out and join you in being an advocate for this here? What has kind of been that take? If you still have to worry about the commissioner, what else is going on in the league? What's your sense on that?
I think there's a few guys that have been bold enough, but obviously you kind of have to be really secure and set. Kevin Durant is a superstar that has spoke on cannabis and has been very outspoken on where he feels it should be normalized and not penalized. But I kind of think it's going to be a crawling process before we can walk with that. I'm hoping that, obviously I know that there's guys that are currently in the NBA that are invested in this space, but it's kind of like it's somewhat not talked about. But like I said, it's going to take a handful of superstars like it normally does to kind of open the door for everyone else to kind of say, okay, hey, I am a cannabis advocate, because a lot of these people not only have to worry about what the league thinks, which the league is loosening it up, but then also endorsements. You know what I mean? It's starting to make its way, but it really hasn't fully come full circle yet. So it's kind of, it's still kind of a thin ice situation. So as a retired athlete, I'm going to continue to use my platform and kind of be a shield for these guys and continuing to push the envelope so it becomes more normalized.
NBA champion and now entrepreneur Matt Barnes. It's good to talk to you today. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a great day.